What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Today's video is inspired by the unfortunate reality that I noticed that a lot of therapists that I'm connected with who are in private practice, who on paper have very successful private practices, they're full, they're growing, they're hiring employees, etc., etc., often feel still quite dissatisfied with their experience of running their practice, being in their practice, work-life balance, etc. And so it kind of raised the question for me of, what are the signs of a healthy private practice? Because you could be successful on paper and still be not healthy as a person or as a private practice. So I thought I'd make a video sharing my opinion of 3 signs of a healthy private practice. So if you're interested in watching that, then stay tuned. As I alluded to in the intro of this video, these signs are less about the numbers around private practice. How many clients do you have? How much money are you making? How quickly are you growing if you're just starting out? Those things, of course, are very important to keep track of, important to set goals for as well. However, you might have all those boxes checked and still not have a healthy private practice. So the signs of a healthy practice that I'm going to name in this video have less to do with the numbers and more to do with the internal, emotional, and relational factors involved. Sign number 1 of a healthy private practice is that you make business decisions based on what aligns best with your values. This stands in contrast to making decisions based on guilt or what you feel like you're supposed to do, even if you don't really want to, or other things that might be kind of factoring in and pressuring you to make choices that don't necessarily come in alignment with who you are. I think especially now, as there are more and more tools becoming available to help therapists start and grow their private practices, we can hear someone present a model, even someone like me, internalize it and feel like we have to align with that model or that advice, or else we're doing something wrong. And a lot of times what might be best for you is something totally different than what's best for me. And so if you're finding yourself sort of trying to do what you think you're supposed to do, or grow to a certain number, or hold a certain boundary because somebody told you it's supposed to be a boundary and it doesn't sit well with who you are, that's gonna start to lead to unhealth, especially if it becomes a pattern in how you run your practice. Whatever sort of systems you have set up for your practice, whether it's how many clients you see per week, how much you charge, how you go about charging them, take insurance or not, or sliding scale, or any other factors related to the business side of private practice, as long as you feel like you're making those decisions in alignment with your values, as long as they fall within the umbrella of our laws and ethics, then you're setting yourself up for a healthy private practice. Even if you're on day 1 and you don't even have any clients yet, you're building your practice from a place of integrity, and as you grow, you can only continue to build on that health that's already there. Sign number 2 of a healthy private practice is your loved ones feel that your business align and have a positive impact on the rest of your life. Or another way of phrasing it as a double negative, your loved ones don't feel like your business is having a negative impact on the rest of your life. This one feels important to name because I've seen instances where the therapist might say, like, I'm doing great, everything is healthy about my practice, and they might have their blinders up a little bit, because if you could sort of interview their loved ones, they might say, yeah, like so-and-so works way too much, we never get to see them, or they're always prioritizing, scheduling an extra client over doing, going to our kids' game, or whatever factors might be going on outside. And not to say that we don't ever prioritize work things over non-work things, but if your loved ones are noticing a pattern that your work life is taking away from your home life or other aspects of your life, then that's probably a sign that your practice is not as healthy as it could be. When we have a healthy approach to our practice, it has an appropriate place within the rest of our lives, and honestly within our sense of identity. For me, my private practice is such an important part of my life, and I get a huge sense of reward and even identity from the work that I do with my clients. But it's not all there is to me, and it's not the only thing that matters to me. And so if my practice can kind of live appropriately amongst all the other things that I care about, my family, gardening, friends, community, things like that, then the rest of my loved ones are going to experience that too and say, yeah, Marie, you're doing great in private practice, and it's really cool that you made time for me, or that you're doing these other things that I know you love as well. And the third sign that you have a healthy private practice is you feel a personal overall sense of contentment with your work. Again, I don't mean this necessarily as, I reached my income goals or I reached my caseload size goals, and so therefore I'm feeling content. You could reach those goals and still feel some sense of discontent. You could also still be building to those goals and have a sense that what you're doing, how you're investing your time is aligning with who you are and what matters most to you. If you are feeling a sense of discontent with your practice, it could be telling you any number of things, so I'm not trying to prescribe what it says about you or your practice or the people you work with or anything else if you're feeling discontent, but it is worth looking into to say, okay, is this like my internal narrative making me feel discontent, or is there actually something about how I'm doing things or the people around me or whatever it might be that's kind of feeding into that discontent? And I'm going to throw in a bonus sign of a healthy practice, which only applies in some scenarios but is worth naming for those that it applies to. For those of you who have employees, contractors, or you have kind of business adjacent professionals that you interact with in the work context, that those folks feel respected in whatever capacity you're interacting together with them. Of course, all humans are their own people, and somebody might just have a chip on their shoulder and having a reaction. There are going to be those one-offs, but generally speaking, in a healthy practice environment, anyone else who's working alongside or working within that practice should feel respected, cared for, like their humanness is valued, that they are an equal, etc. If you're running a group practice and you have 10 employees and they're all feeling really disrespected, really unsatisfied, I'm going to say that's a flag that there's something unhealthy going on in your practice. Now, I'm aware as I name these, 3 signs of a healthy practice, as is true with pretty much all of my content being so short form, this can be a little bit reductionistic. Of course, there are so many more signs of a healthy and an unhealthy practice, and there's so much more detail that goes within each of these kind of bullet points that I named, but I wanted to put this out there just to kind of give some little flags, some little clues for you to be able to assess if the practice that you're running is healthy, or maybe the practice that you're working in, if you're in like a group context, is healthy. And if you need help, consult, and you can always adjust accordingly. And ultimately, whoever you are, if you're hoping to have your own practice, I hope you feel empowered to have a practice that aligns with who you are, that is healthy, fulfilling, and contenting, that you're content with. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes makes practice management super easy because they have scheduling, notes, billing, a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform, and so many other features that make running your practice smooth and easy. If you'd like to check out Therapy Notes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, I hope you found this video helpful and encouraging. Let me know in the comments if there are any other signs of a healthy practice that you would add to this list. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well.